Good. I'm teaching the following topic. Any questions before we move on to the following topic? A little bit about myself. Been in Navy 18 years. First ship was USS Carl Vinson, where I initially started as a below decker. Got fully qualified on below deck systems, then moved off the ship, went to go shore duty. On shore duty, things are a little bit different. Mostly dry refuelers, but I was able to fully qualify on the shore base facilities as well. Upon completing my tour on shore duty, came back stateside and jumped on the USS Enterprise. On the Enterprise, I was assigned to flight deck. On flight deck, I was fully qualified by my end of the tour. So I've got quite a bit of experience when we talk about environmental protection. If you have any questions, please raise your hands. In this topic, we'll talk about environmental protection and the ABF responsibilities for a safe planet. In any event of emergency, fire, flooding, or any other building catastrophes, we're going to immediately take a right outside our door, take another right, muster out in front of the building, and wait for further direction. Satisfactory performance. Participation is key. Please take notes. Take notes and ask questions. As a lot of this information is going to be passed on to you and your other shipmates on back on the ship. So all this information, take it back with you as knowledge to be used on ship. Do your best. Do your best, as the test is open book, but it requires a 75% to pass. By show of hands, who is concerned with the environment? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Are there any questions before we move on to the main topic? Today we're going to be discussing 1.2 environmental protection. Our objectives are going to be using applicable publication. Trainee will demonstrate the knowledge in writing of shipboard aviation fuels, and also to identify the types, laws, instruction, causes, sizes, and methods of prevention for petroleum product and environmental resource protection program. Our tech manuals are going to be as such. We're governed by the ABF1 and the 5090.1 as seen on the screen. Any questions so far? No. Environmental protection is everybody's responsibility to ensure a safe environment and to reduce the amount of hazardous material pumped overboard. What is pollution? Pollution is anything that upsets the environment. It can be broken down into noise, garbage, sewage, petroleum products, and such. Laws that regulate the pollution are the 1924 law, which was first introduced, dealing with oil pollution, making it illegal to dump over the side. In 1972, a federal water Pollution Control Act was amended, making it mandatory to report to the Coast Guard for all vessels, to include all branches of the military. The CNO made this directive in the 59.1 ONAV instruction manual. Take note of those instructions, we'll discuss about them later. Causes of spills. There's two basic causes of spills. One's going to be an accidental, one's going to be an intentional. Difference between the two, the accidental will be more of a mechanical failure or a pump failure causing a spill. Intentional will intentionally discharge petroleum products on the side, giving specific guidelines out of the ONAV 5090.1. There's a small chart here that is good to have as reference in the event of a fuel spill. It gives you some guidelines on how to address a fuel spill. All these logs are out of the 59.1 ONAV instruction that CNO put out. Petroleum being the most severe spill, but there are other types of spills. For example, dirty water coming out of our bilges. Prevention methods. How do we prevent it? We prevent it by coming to this class, following our procedures, and following OPNAV instruction 59.1. I have a question. What type of pollution is most severe? Yes, Chief Cooper.
Oil pollution.
Phenomenal answer, Chief Cooper. Who do we report to in the event of a fuel spill? Yes, Chief Cooper.
Chain of command.
Phenomenal answer. Containment methods. In the event of a fuel spill, as discussed in the topic, use whatever necessary to control the fuel spill. For example, if there's a fuel spill inside of an office, contain it with whatever is in the office while assistance follows on. For example, when I was on the USS Carl Vinson, it had a massive fuel spill in an engineering space. Engineering was trained a little bit different than ABS. They literally started taking rags, uniforms, seat bags, and using it as barriers to prevent the fuel from going inside of their pumps. That is a good example of using the resources as ABS showed up on scene about 15 minutes later. Also, any amount of fuel is reportable. Any questions on prevention methods? Questions? Keynote. Cannot discharge fuel over the side within 50 nautical miles of any coastline, to include the U.S. Fuel spills are designated or identified by size and location. And any fuel spills are reported to the chain of command. In summary, we talked about the types of pollution, laws and regulations related to pollution, causes of fuel spills, types, methods, containment methods, and we are now able to go back to the EOs and describe the definition of oil pollution. Are there any questions? If there are questions, I have questions for you. What is one type of pollution? Yes, Chiku.
Oil.
Outstanding. What are two factors that determine a fuel spill? Yes, Chiku.
Size and location.
Phenomenal. And what law was the second law introduced for oil pollution? Yes, Chiku.
1972 regulation.
Stunning. Thank you for your answers. Again, in the event of a fire, flood, or building malfunction, we'll exit the building, muster out front, and wait for further directions. If there are no other questions, let's take 10 minutes.